What's going on, everybody? This is the Phase 2 Queen Ansurek guide for positioning. Let's talk about the mythic changes here. Portals. And based on what side you're on the second platform specifically, there'll be different ads. So we're going to form our group comp accordingly to deal with those ads. So let's talk about portals. This is the mythic mechanic for P2 and what makes it pretty challenging. One portal will appear on each side for each group, and it has a cast bar. This cast is a 12-second cast, and if the cast goes off, we all die. We can reset the cast bar of the portals by having someone in the raid go through the portal, which teleports them to the opposite portal. It also will give them a bomb dispel that we've seen on Heroic as well. The first, I'll talk about that part later, but as far as where you go to get dispelled once you go through the portal, the first per platform is going to go left, second platform is going to go, or second pair is going to go right. That will make more sense when I start going through the rest of the slides with you. When you get dispelled, it actually leaves a giant puddle on the ground as well, which is another mythic change. So that's the portals. And how do we deal with that? And also, once you take a portal, you can't take a portal again. So we have to be very, very careful on who goes through the portals and at what times. So this is what it's going to look like. This is how I've done the assignments. Remember, I had at the end of the intermission video, I had a close team, which was heading to red, and I had a far team heading to green. These are what the groups are going to look like. So odds, groups 1 and 3 are going to be the left there. Groups 2 and 4, even groups, are going to be on the right. They'll be green team. And this is how the swaps work. So on the very bottom platform, we're going to have one swap, the base platform there, which is going to be the two healer shamans. They'll be the very first pair to swap, and we only get one of those on the base platform. Then every platform after that, we're going to have 2 pairs that have to go through because it's a 12-second cast, and we have to go in the portal to reset those casts as we go. So based on the timing, we need 2 pairs to go through the portals on each platform. So take a look where you are on this list. Once you swap sides, you're on that new side forever. So for example, the first pair to go through the platform on the first platform is Verve and Therapy. So when they swap sides, Verve will be on the green team for the rest of P2, if that makes sense. So let's keep going. Base platform appears. We have our 2 ads. It's the same as Heroic. We have orbs that come out, and there's interrupts that have to be done on this ad. The only difference on Mythic is the portals. So we're going to have our 2 healers, our 2 shamans, go ahead and swap sides. And since they are the first pair to go, they'll go left relative facing the center of the room. And they're going to get dispelled, which leaves a puddle. During all this, everyone else is DPSing the 2 ads, and they'll kill it and get ready for the boop. All right, let's talk about the first platform. So the first platform is actually the same as Heroic. Again, the only change here is 1, the poles leave goop on the ground. The rest, same as intermission. And 2, we have to deal with the portals, like we do for the entire phase of P2. So the first set is 2 ads, an Expeller and a Guardian. Guardian is the tanky one that can move. The Expeller is the one that teleports and then shoots laser beams out. The laser beams only target melee. So if melee can, what they want to try to do is bait those beams away from ranged. I'm not going to show beam baits in this example, but it's pretty simple. If you're a melee, try to keep a good position to where you're pointing. You're not in between yourself, like make sure the Expeller's not pointing stuff at ranged, basically. This first platform is going to have the second and third swaps. Again, I'm going to post the swaps in raid resources, so I'm not going to show it on every single time. But the expeller teleports there, and then everyone needs to start pre-positioning for the first pull. And how the pulls work is it alternates between sides. On the very first platform, it's always going to hit the green team first, so it's going to hit that far team first, and then it's going to hit the red team. The idea here is we will always only get one grip per platform. We may start getting the second grip, but we should be able to click the pylons before that second grip goes off and cancel the cast. So what does that look like? You always want to position yourself, ranged, healers, melee, on the away side of where the pylons are. We don't want to be dropping webs and dropping things in our way to go up the bridge when we need to. So you can kind of see positioning here. We're away from the pylons, and this is the same for each side. Tank's going to drag the other ad on top of the expeller so we can cleave. Expeller is priority. And then we get ready for the grip. The swapper is most likely going to be going, at least on the far side, during this grip. One thing for all swappers to know is that if you have a grip on you and you go through the portal, it actually cancels the grip. So the more you know. That's why I have the swapper running to the portal during this grip. You actually won't get gripped if you go through the portal while it's targeting you. We get the web goop on the ground. Swapper swaps. The other one from the other side appears. They're going to run to the left, relative facing the center of the room, because they're the first ones per platform. And they're going to get dispelled by one of the healers and put goop on the ground. We're watching the cast here. As soon as there's, 2 seconds left on the cast, the second swapper is going to go. And again, this is the same on each side. And that swapper is going to come out and go right and get dispelled. Once the ads are dead, we're going to have our 2 people click the pylons and get us to the next platform. So that's platform 1. Platform 2. This is where the big difference comes. I've set the groups up because on the far side, on green side, which is what I'm going to talk about first, there's going to be 2 different ads that are unique to Mythic in this phase, which are the Acolytes, which you may remember them from P3 and Heroic. They're the ones that hang from the ceiling and do the cast. We're actually going to have 2 of those on green side. So they are actually not targetable really by melee at all. So at this point in the fight, how I've set up the groups and the swaps means that this side of the room will basically have all ranged for that reason. This is a good point in the fight to also use CDs because we will need to burst the Worshipper down with the shield and the 2 Acolytes that are chain casting out hanging off the platform. So I'm going to talk about green side first. Ads wise, we have the Worshipper, like I said. We have the 1 Expeller, which is the guy that shoots laser beams, and 2 Acolytes hanging off the edge. This is also going to be swaps 4 and 5 on the list. So we want to make sure we're always ready and in position for the grips, the rest, the web thing, and make sure we're not blocking our pylon area for us to run up. Again, during this, we'll be doing our swaps. It's hard for me to actually visualize and do timing on exactly when the swaps are supposed to happen because the nature of how the casts work on the portal, like I said before, is every time you run through the portal, it will reset your timer on that specific portal. It doesn't reset both portals. It resets one timer on one portal. So if someone happens to go through the portal with 5 seconds remaining on the cast, that's 5 seconds earlier in the fight, then that resets the cast bar. It doesn't wait. It doesn't have a timeout period. It literally just starts casting that cast again as soon as someone goes in. So just like interrupts, try to wait till the last few seconds to go through the portal to keep timing consistent. All right. So first swapper went through. They go left to get dispelled. And the second swapper goes through, and they're going to also get dispelled. Now, just to note, In Mythic, this is for the healers now. So big healer shout out. The Worshipper, just like on Heroic, also puts out a singular dispel on a singular healer most of the time. So you will also have to coordinate between your two healers on your side not to dispel the Swapper and to dispel the other dispel that went out from the Worshipper. This one I don't believe drops a puddle, but if you do dispel two at the same time, it's probably going to blow up your side. All right. So second Swapper goes through and gets dispelled. That would be dispel number, or swap number 5. And then we get ready to go to the last section, which before I do that, we'll talk about the red side. Literally, positioning is the same. This side is going to be mostly melee with maybe 1 or 2 ranged. Again, the reason for that is this side has targetable adds by melee. You're going to have 1 Worshipper, so same as the other side. You have 1 Expeller that shoots the laser beams, and you have 1 Guardian, which is the same ad that was on the first platform, the one that can move around and be controlled by the tank. So red side, you're basically just going to have your tank pull the Guardian ad to the other ones, blow them up. Worshipper is Prio, then Expeller, then Guardian. And then let's talk about the third platform. Same on both sides. Super easy. It's the same as the beginning of P2. We have 1 Void Speaker ad, which is the same as the base platform. It has a cast that needs to be kicked, and then there's balls that shoot out. And this is going to be swaps 6 and 7. So the last couple swaps. I do have 1 backup at the very end that will maybe be used, but we should be able to kill this ad before the 8th swap. So, and that's P2. The hardest part here is going to be timing with the portals. There's going to be a lot of interrupt assignments in this as well. So we're all kicking the correct things to not take extra damage, and working on positioning and not getting gripped up or gripped into the laser beam. And that's phase 2, everybody. It's good luck.